Hello, everyone. I am Elena, and I'm here to do the February reading for the Cancer parent. So, any parents who have Cancerian children, this reading is for you. And so let's get started. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. I greatly appreciate you being here. Welcome back to all of you who've been here before. Welcome for all of you who are new. And okay, so let's get started. So I usually pull 3 cards for the child perspective, and then I top it off at the end with 1 card for you, the parent, which is from this deck, and that's an advice card. Now, sometimes your advice card is solely for you and separate from the child perspective, but most of the time, and I would say about 9 times out of 10, it is in relationship to the challenge, and it gives you a little bit more insight on how to navigate the challenge. Okay, so the first card here for the Cancer child. This is what your child is experiencing during the month of February. And it is the Lover's card, and it's also the Gemini card. Now, of course, remember, we're reading this from the perspective of the child. And the Lovers can indicate a couple of things here. So number one, it can indicate that your child is experiencing a month of bliss where the adults in his or her life are getting along just fine, and he is observing and absorbing this. Also, I failed to mention at the beginning, I will say he, she, they, but this is not a gender specific reading, so please apply the gender however best it suits your household. Okay, so back to the Lover's card. So it can be that your Cancerian child here is very content with how the adults in his or her life are treating each other, because you see, these are obviously, this is a couple, right? And remember, this is what your child is experiencing during the month of February. So this is what your child, in essence, is seeing and observing, right? So he's seeing content adults here getting along. Everyone gets along just fine. Another flip to the Lover's card, though, is also about choices, making choices. So that can also, although I'm not really feeling that, to be honest, I'm feeling more of a contentment here, a feeling of all is well with the adults who take care of me. And that's beautiful. That is very beautiful. Now, I want to say something here, because I can already sense some of you potentially saying, well, I'm not sure why my child feels that way. I've been arguing with my wife or husband or partner or whatever. Remember, this is the child perspective. So you may have some tension going on, or perhaps there's other stuff going on that's obviously kept private and your little one isn't aware of. But this is what your child is observing and experiencing. So let's just kind of keep that in mind as we unfold the reading. Okay, so now we're going to go into what a potential challenge is for your little one during the month of February. You know, I did want to say, though, before I don't want to distract, but another thing too, I just realized this is also February. So here, in some parts of the world, St. Valentine's Day is celebrated. So if you have a child who's a little older, perhaps junior high or whatever, or even grammar school, where they are filling out the cards, to give to one another, the St. Valentine cards and Be Mine candy and all that. So that could be part of what this is, actually. It could be, I totally forgot that we're coming up here at Valentine's Day. So keep that in mind. That could be a thing that's playing out too. In terms of a challenge, so there's some busyness going on here that is taking away from your child feeling like he or she can just be, and just kind of just relax and be left alone almost. So maybe there is a lot of activity going on in the household where your child is perhaps not getting enough alone time, or maybe is getting too much alone time, right? But either way, at the end of it, the Four of Swords is indicating a need for rest, meditation, healing even. So there could be a little bit of stubbornness going on here from some Cancerian children who need to either heal from an injury or need to get more rest and need to get more sleep to properly, get their school work done or whatever. But there's a struggle with that. There's a challenge with that. And it's almost like they're being highly activated with whatever's with this happy feeling or whatever this is here going on at home. That's not allowing them to get into the space of just chill, quiet, peacefulness. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, I'll come back to this because I want to see what this is. This will give us an indication of what your child needs most from you during the month of February. Okay, so yeah, okay, so very, very interesting. It's a little bit of contradictory energy, but then it's not at the same time. So the Fool is all about exploration. It's all about play. And usually it's about doing it on our own. Okay, so it is confirming what I said at the beginning of perhaps they're not being left alone enough. Your child sort of, so this is what's happening. It's beautiful and funny at the same time because there's something lovely going on with the family. Either someone just got married, maybe you have a new partner, maybe the grandparents, because remember, this could be a couple. Maybe the grandparents are visiting, or something is happening with the family dynamic, which is beautiful. But whatever is going on is bringing more people together, right? But because more people are coming together, it's creating some sort of busyness that is not allowing a little Cancerian here to kind of go in their little cave. And, little Cancerians, no matter what age they are, really need to be allowed the time to go into their little shell, right? Their little crab. And it doesn't mean that it's negative. It doesn't mean they're depressed. And it doesn't mean that they're wallowing. It could just mean that they just need some time out, right? And Cancerians very much need that. And so if you got the Fool in the position of what your child needs most from you, that confirms to me that your child needs to be left alone. Like your child is basically asking here, dear parent, just let me just kind of be with no obligations to anyone. Let me just kind of go explore in my bedroom alone. Let me go outside and not have to hang out with my grandparents every minute of the day, or let me just go play. Let me just go do my own thing. And so there's a little struggle here of, yes, this is lovely. I love family time, especially Cancerian, but I also need my alone time. I need to go into my cocoon. And this is confirmation, asking you to please allow your little one to just do that. It could be as simple as just let them go watch a show for 20 minutes on their own, right? But there's some major activity happening. And you see all these little other elements here, like you have the sun is represented as a person or entity, and then you have that little bat, and you have, I don't know what that is, but it's like another little friend there, another companion. Yeah, this is very simple and very clear to me. So let's see what advice Spirit has for you. A little Cancerian just wants to be left alone. It's funny. Yeah, and the Fool is very independent, but it's not a lonely card. Neither the Four of Swords or the Fool, they're not lonely cards. They're just, independent cards. But I do want to reiterate that the Four of Swords could indicate needing to heal from something as well. Okay, so let me see. Oops. Okay. Let's see what I got here. Ooh, stubborn cards. It's funny. They've been like flying out. Seven of Coins. Yeah. Okay, so Seven of Pentacles. That's what that is. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. So that's interesting. So this is really more about you, parent. This is a little separate from the child perspective. So I'm feeling this advice card as a separate card for you, dear parent. And the Seven of Coins, the bottom line of the Seven of Coins is about taking the time to reevaluate and assess where your time, effort, energy, resources, where all of that energy is going into. So, um, perhaps it's going into this new energy, right? That's happening. Or perhaps you're putting more of your effort because you haven't in the past. And so I'm kind of sensing this as energy to continue moving forward in that investment that you're making. And when I say that investment, I'm not talking tangible coins, even though this is about coins. Um, it could also be that you are spending perhaps more time at work, not necessarily because you're working extra hours, but because you're reassessing. It's like you're reconfiguring where your resources are or how your resources are being used. And for some reason, this whole new energy of family dynamic is spilling into it or is being affected by or or being encouraged by that energy. So this is a twofold for you. Number one, it's confirming that you have done well with the resources that you yourself have carried through or what you've done with them, even though you may not feel like it, right? Because the Seven of Coins, the reason we begin to assess is because it comes from the Six of Coins. And the Six of Coins is usually an imbalance. It's usually either you're not reciprocating enough or another's not reciprocating enough. And by another, I mean, it can be your employer, it can be your spouse, it can be your family. So the Seven of Coins follows the Six of Coins of imbalance. So what that tells me is that in the past, you've had to make some changes. Either you've had to improve how you balance your time, your resources, your money, or others have had, or you've had to draw boundaries on how others treat you, either in the workplace or how they compensate you for your work and time and effort. And so now here you've gotten to Seven Coins energy, which is making you assess, and I'm kind of feeling like perhaps this is also about you've taken some assessment of your resources and realized maybe you need to save some money. So now you've brought in the grandparents to take care of your little one to make sense and justify where your money is going, where your resources are going. I did totally just pick that up for someone that's probably very specific. So it's not going to apply for all of you listening to this. But there is a feeling of, okay, now there's some recalibrating going on with your resources, finances, and not just tangible things. Your resources can also be people, right? So it can be your employers, your employee, it can be your grandparents, your parents, and how you utilize their time to help the family unit. Because I'm really feeling a family unit situation here. It can't even be that some of you have started businesses, like your own businesses, or you're reshifting, or it could be like a family business. I'm really feeling heavy energy on that. And so it's affecting your child here as well, because there's a lot of movement and, like I said earlier, reshifting of things. So I'm sensing this as a confirmation to keep doing what you're doing. This is a separate advice card for you. Usually, like I said, it's related. It is related, but not to the extent that other readings normally are. You really did get a separate card, which is continue assessing things, continue doing what you're doing, continue shifting family dynamics to make the resource area work. You're doing a great job, dear parents. So, okay, I hope this was helpful and hope to see you back here in March. Please like, comment, subscribe, tell other parents about this channel. I'm very much looking forward to growing it, and I can't do this alone. I need your help to make it happen. So I greatly appreciate you. Bye.